Hello and welcome to this new analysis with you, Amina Moore, in the Tactical Square. I'm going to talk today about this big achievement. It's been years that Paris Saint-Germain is waiting for this big achievement, which is playing the final of the Champions League. How it did went? Well, in the semi-final, it was crazy semi-final, even though we see 3-0. But yeah, to see the ex-analyst against the who is a coach now, against a very well-known coach who is Thomas Tuchel, and this German tactical debate, a lot of flexibility in both sides. And let's talk about the defense of Leipzig, how they went. Well, the first scenario was 4-1, 4-1 of Leipzig against, I'm not pronouncing it good, I think it's Leipzig, but yeah, excuse my German, I never took classes actually of German at school. And Paris Saint Germain, I pronounce it well, I know French, and they play with a 4-3-3, very flexible one, putting Neymar in the half space, trying to bring Di Maria, trying to put in the half space as well, trying to give this big freedom to Kylian Mbappe, and it went good, and it went really good for PSG. And let's see. I have it. You think I forget it? No, I still have it. So the defense of Paris Saint-Germain was Thiago Silva with Kimpembe, and putting in front of them three players in case of if the ball is lost. If the ball is lost, we can go back to our shape of five players, to having three players in front of the defense, with Herrera a little bit slightly high than the others. And we have here Marquinhos and Paredes trying to put the ball out. The structure of Paris Saint-Germain was actually to make here Di Maria in the half space, no matter what, playing here, attracting also here Nkunku with Herrera, trying to attract Nkunku a little bit, to free for Kerrer the space, and then to free the space for Bernat as well. And we saw that Bernat went with the fullback to fullback, Kerrer as well with Angelino, same thing, fullback to fullback. And then it gives to Paris Saint-Germain the ability to progress, to play the ball through the lines, through the thirds. And we saw Paris Saint-Germain arriving more with more players in the box than Leipzig. When Leipzig in the offensive side, I'm comparing the offensive side. But yeah, Bernat was trying to join in the box, Mbappe, Neymar, Di Maria, and of course always a surprise player, whether it's Paredes or Marquinhos, for the second ball if it's in those zones. And they did well, Paris Saint-Germain, in facing this scenario of 4-1 with a 4-3-3 shape as well, very flexible. We saw that sometimes Neymar can drop a little bit with Paredes playing the cheating position. So here if we go specific a little bit, they disequilibrate the opponents. They create 3v2, 3v3, 2v1 if we go more specific. And Paris Saint-Germain did really well in creating those problems to Leipzig. Leipzig responded, and how they respond, we will see that. Leipzig responded well as well, and they went from a 4-1-4-1 shape to 4-4-2 to prevent now the 2v1 that was creating here in the half space and near zone 14. They didn't want that to happen, so they bring one from the midfield with the striker Poulsen, so they can a little bit press, but always the fullback are pushing high, not letting the fullbacks of Leipzig coming. But PSG found it a little bit difficult to progress through the lines at times. So they went through long balls. That was sometimes sometimes Mbappe won those long balls, sometimes not, and they tried to prevent the danger of Paris, but not for so long because Paris Saint-Germain had from time to time, most of the time, the more time on the ball for Kimpembe here to create 2v1, and also Nkunku that a little bit was disequilibrated by the position play of Herrera, who had a good position play, but Herrera, the problem is in the offensive transitions when the ball, when Paris Saint-Germain sometimes win the ball and Herrera got the ball, he still missed the structure, the references in the structure of Paris Saint-Germain. To play forward to Neymar or Mbappe, sometimes he play backwards and that slow a little bit the transitions of Paris Saint-Germain. But his position play disequilibrated Nkunku, and they found gaps in the midfield of Leipzig, and at the end they found crosses on the sides and they were overloaded. Just a quick remark about the pressing of PSG, because the pressing of PSG, from it came a goal of Di Maria, who went really aggressive on this on the pressing, and in the good sense of the word. So the problem of Leipzig is a little bit that they wanted to play out the ball, but they didn't have the strength to play against this pressing of Paris Saint-Germain. Di Maria pressing here really high, the center back. Same thing here, preventing from the other side, whether it's Mbappe or Neymar, the switch of the play, midfielders on midfielders. So the time to create a 2v1 here from a winger, it was really slow in the transmissions, and the pressing was really high. We saw it on the goal. Di Maria continues his run and he scored a goal, and it was all the time PSG pressing high, Leipzig find it hard to get out the ball. In the second half, I was really surprised by the low block of PSG. I didn't expect them to play that low, especially in the beginning of the second half, and I don't think that it was on the instructions of Thomas Tuchel, because Thomas Tuchel, we saw him from the bench, he screamed to move a little bit higher. It happened in the second half, and we will see how it went through. It didn't happen directly, but it happened. And we saw also the good changes of Nagelsmann, playing with Schick, playing with Forsberg, playing with number 14. And those players, it gives us a little bit the question, wasn't it the right thing to play them since the beginning, especially when I saw the performance of Forsberg? Yes, before he had a good, the third decision was the good one. The two first decisions in the second half, he had to take his marks in the structure. We talked about the references in the structure. We talk about Herrera in PSG, Forsberg. It took him less time than Herrera to adapt, but yeah, when I see the performance of Forsberg, Schick, wasn't it the right thing to play them since the beginning and to play with 3-4-2-1, try to disequilibrate a little bit the Herrera, and we will see how it happened, and it happened. So I'm talking about the low block of PSG. Really, the low block of PSG, and they didn't press. They were a little bit low. They didn't press from those three. Neymar or Mbappe were here on the left side, pressing from far. So it created a little bit 3v2 here, and it was the left side that was relevant in the side of in Leipzig, and Forsberg was really high, and he was combining with Angelino. They had the central midfielder was here, and then the striker, Paulsen, that was here, with fullbacks pushing really high, trying to create 5v4 in the last third, and especially trying to combine on this side and disequilibrate. They disequilibrate Herrera defensively, and they create space in backside of PSG's defense, and they wait until the 60 minutes. The 60 minutes of the match is the first time where I saw 6 players from Leipzig in the box of PSG. But yeah, it was 60 minutes. You know, we wait a little bit. We wait a little bit more, and when not Thomas Tuchel, when Nagelsmann saw that there are gaps here, in the back of PSG. I will try to show it a little bit more here. When he saw that there are gaps and they attract Paredes, they attract Paredes, Marquinhos here, he added another player, and they went to the structure of 3-4-2-1. 3-4-2-1 to create what? To create 2v1 direct crosses and try to be in the box with a high line then of defense, pushing really forward. And PSG, maybe it's the French culture sometimes of they say gérer, which is the way to manage the match, which is to have a low volume, low concentration, but that creates what? That gives space to the opponent, and they manage to do well of it. So yeah, gérer, manage, yeah. Maybe it's a good thing, but it must be forward. It must be used in the right way. But then when PSG scored the third goal, they went really high. They understood the players understood, and I saw Thomas Tuchel who pushed the players, tell them to go high. So we saw here. Then they go 3v3. Di Maria on the defenders, so they prevent more crosses. From Leipzig. They pressed really high, and they went here with 2 midfielders really high. So the aim of playing with with the structure for Leipzig of 3-4-2-1, I'm gonna show it here. The aim of playing with 3-4-2-1 is a little bit to create here a 2v1 in the midfield, to create 2v1 in the last third, but the defenders of PSG were following up high in the pitch, fullback to fullback, aggressive in the pressing, and they managed really to prevent. It didn't mean that the plan was not good for Leipzig. They sometimes they dropped, and they had more freshness in these sides, which give them also opportunities for crosses for Leipzig. So it gives them opportunities for crosses, but PSG also managed to prevent those crosses by a high pressing. PSG kept the same structure that we talked about, which is to play a little bit here with to bring this sort of a box here, but this time with more space. This time with more space for Neymar, for more space with Mbappe, more space for Di Maria. They didn't just came here to the half space. No, they were also important here in the wings. They had more spaces because the fullbacks are pushing high, so they have more spaces in the wings, in the counterattacks as well. So the sometimes the problem of PSG is in the offensive transitions. Sometimes Di Maria is going on the right way. Mbappe, Neymar, but I'm talking about Herrera, a player that still lacks a little bit the references. I'm not blaming him here, nor okay, I'm finding him excuses, but it's the case. He still missed the references here. At the end, PSG managed also to create the overload here, and we saw that when Di Maria drops a little bit back to help Herrera in the build up or in the transitions, Paris had more balls, and here in this area, Mbappe as well, Neymar to play in the back of this fullback. And then they had occasions to hurt Leipzig. Leipzig did a good performance in the second half. Maybe we are talking about PSG who that helped them a little bit by dropping back, but I think that it was maybe those players who should have started those wonderful substitutes, but at the end it's the coach, maybe the readings of the coach. It has a certain logic at the end. It has a certain logic through certain study of the game. He is with the players every day, but we saw those players really made the difference. Now Paris Saint-Germain is really an unpredictable team that can do better in the offensive transitions. Against Bayern Munich, it's gonna be difficult. It's going to be really difficult against Bayern Munich. But we will do a video about what is the perfect scenario to go against Bayern Munich, and we will do in the same video how Bayern Munich should play against PSG. Maybe when we saw just the offensive transitions, I don't want to make a long video, but maybe dropping Di Maria in the midfield, this could help. He already played in the 4-3-3 with Ancelotti in Real Madrid with Xabi Alonso and Modric, and yes, he had to perfect his game defensively, but he did it, and we saw before his experience with Manchester United before coming to PSG. Now we have more volume in his game, and he can do this job in the midfield, and we saw him before with Paris Saint-Germain in the midfield helping, and why not? I'm talking about Sarabia. Now Verratti came back. He played only some minutes of the match, not fully, 6 minutes I think, something like this, or more or less, and he could be an option. We still in the doubt if he can play 90 minutes. So all this unpredictability is is really good for Paris Saint-Germain. So hopefully we will see a good final. We still don't know. I'm talking about Bayern Munich. Maybe maybe Lyon as well. We saw their forces, even though the XG in Bayern Munich is higher, and but I don't think that Lyon will do a ridiculous match. Lyon will do a good performance, and they will try to get the 100% out of their abilities. I'm pretty confident for them. So hopefully that you enjoyed this analysis. We saw how to remind you the points of this analysis. It was 4-1-4-1 against a 4-3-3, 4-4-2 then in the first half Leipzig tried to adapt a little bit by dropping a midfield a little bit higher, trying to prevent those passes in zone 14 to zone 14 with this box of PSG that was a little bit hurting the Herrera. His positioning was a little bit disequilibrating and balancing Nkunku. And then in the second half, 3-5-2, 3-4-2-1, those changes a little bit give fluidity to Leipzig, and Paris Saint-Germain did really well to then encounter this problem by pressing high. That it didn't mean that, as I said before in the video, that Leipzig didn't had any occasions after this when they did the efforts and the players were fresh and they were taking good decisions. It was with you, Amin Amor from the Tactical Square, a certified UEFA coach. Subscribe to my channel, share this video where you can. I hope that you enjoyed this analysis. Thank you very much.